content over everything.
I'll give you proof.
Talk to him. Don't talk to him.
By the way, this isn't over. This Chernobyl discussion. We haven't even got started yet.
Oh, you want to talk about Chernobyl? Come here.
there.
Come here, bro. Come here.
Holy ground.
Why? You're afraid. You're scared, bro. You're scared. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Okay, how can reason?
Anyway. Yeah, I think following spirituality is a bunch of baloney. It's not beneficial for society.
Why?
It's the only benefit it has is to be able to control the masses in a better way, and that is only if the leader of this cult or this ideology is somebody who actually can rule properly.
But that's religion, not spirituality.
Spirituality is a very important part.
But you can have individual spirituality without religion.
Okay, look, I believe in the will of people. I believe in feelings of people. That's obvious for me. It's obvious that feelings exist, that we feel in different ways sometimes than each other. But spirituality is something so vague, so uncertain, so, out in the open. Bro, it's very vague.
If somebody's had an experience they class as spiritual, to them it's not vague at all. You're shaking your head. You can't just shake your head.
Explain it.
Your experience
Make it concrete.
Your experience of taste and colour and music, that's an experiential reality. You can't prove what you experience to me as being valuable to you. I have to accept it.
We'll be back.
That's it. It comes like that.
Dude, by describe, where are they going?
I don't know. Oh, they're coming. They're going for the Toad Man.
The what?
The guy over there, big guy.
The big guy?
Yeah.
Rolf? You mean Rolf?
No, I think they're trying to talk to the men's right activist guy.
Oh, men's right activist. Okay.
Yeah.
I see what they're up to. But anyway, okay, look. It's obvious that we don't feel things the same way. We feel things differently. But by discussing with each other, by looking at the similarities between what we feel, what we see, what we perceive, we can achieve an approximation to objective truth. At least to a human objective truth. It's an approximation.
And the same
it's
thing,
not absolute
the same
truth,
thing
but
applies to spiritual experiences, such as people taking hallucinogens or, like, say, a DMT, psilocybin. They're having remarkably similar experiences, and sometimes they're having the same experience. They're experiencing the same visions in a group of people, and that would, if you follow your line of logic, that would say that maybe there's something to that. I think there is.
Look, the experience to hallucinogenics, when you take something and you start hallucinating,
Well,
blah blah blah,
the hallucination is up for debate.
It's not clear enough to get a specific conclusion out of that. I
Well,
don't think so.
I'm not
It's
sure.
just something so vague, so out of our grasp. There's
I think
no
it's
point in
something that
wondering
you might have to experience it to be able to approximate what it feels like or what it looks like, so it might be a pretty difficult discussion to have if you haven't had any experiences like that.
Do dreams count?
I would say that dreams can have different forms, and some can be like visions, some can be lucid, and so yeah, they can. I would say so.
Okay, so I did have experiences
Yeah,
like those.
and the idea is that well, I mean, one of the basic premises of myself is that there's more to reality than materialism
It's
shows.
possible, yeah, it's possible.
And that's kind of where I come from when I try and analyze these things, and it definitely has benefit to people, man. Because you said it doesn't have benefit, but it really does. It can give people.
That's not what I mean.
Motivation.
I come from more of a perspective like Sigmund Freud's. He wrote psychoanalysis, and he studied all of the dreams and the psychological realities of each person and how they react to sometimes to hallucinogenics. What do they see?
So did Jung.
Exactly.
And there's different perspectives.
Well, yeah, there are different perspectives, but my point is we should study these things, but up until we reach any kind of concise conclusion about it, there's really no point in giving a lot of importance to this. I mean, we should study it, we should know more about it, but...
Well, it's the idea that if it's an intrinsic human attribute to investigate the so-called spiritual or the metaphysical, I think it is an intrinsic human desire to try and understand reality. And that it's going to transcend the material. For most people, it does. There's some people who are going to be hard materialists, maybe yourself, I don't know. And for a lot of people, it seems that reality is far too complex to be as simple as what we see, and we can't explain what we see either. So there's that part of it, mate. Yeah. So.
But I wouldn't call it spiritualism. I would call it the subconscious.
I'm not calling it spiritualism at all. I think
spirituality.
These are experiences that can't really be classed in the normal scientific way. So that's
subconscious, maybe.
No, these are conscious experiences. you can have them in waking life.
No, I mean subconscious. It's not conscious. It's not unconscious, but it's like subconscious. It's like something you have, but you don't notice that you have usually, like the collective unconscious.
Well, what I'm talking about is like direct spiritual experience. Like you're experiencing something in the moment. It's not subconscious. It's in the moment. If that makes sense.
What's the difference between conscious and subconscious for you?
Well, it seems that conscious is something that you can direct and you're fully aware of at the moment, while subconscious is something that's running in the background that you aren't aware of its machinations.
You don't notice.
Something like that.
Yeah, you might not notice it. True.
Maybe we need something a bit more controversial. Something we've established ourselves there, so that's fine.
I know, right?
Oh, it's fucking freezing.
It is. But still, look, maybe it's just that I don't like the word spiritualism or something spiritual.
I don't use spiritualism. It's not a thing.
Spirituality. What do you use? What kind of words do you use?
Oh, just the things I've said. I just call it spiritual experience, or things that can't be categorized in the standard materialistic way.
Is that not spirituality or spiritualism?
Well, I'm not doctrinizing anything, so no. That's it. I don't like the systematization of things generally. I was thinking about that, about the systematization of like creativity. I think that like natural, spontaneous creativity is far more valuable than something you could teach and replicate. You know what I mean?
I see. Still, look, I think creativity isn't just something that you're born with or something like that. You can develop creativity in people by giving them different perspectives on something, and thus they see it from different perspectives, and they can, kind of do ramifications to their creativity into different fields. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Now you can definitely get inspiration and further your ways of thinking about the world that allow you to be more creative. I was just thinking about like different types of like music and playing instruments and singing and this type of stuff, and that's a different discussion, but just a type of resistance to this, like I said, the systemization of it. It's like, well, for it to be classified as good, it has to fit these things. You know what I mean? When there's certain types of expression that might be valuable for the person intrinsically. You know what I mean? Like, it maybe other people, you try singing and other people say, oh, you're terrible at singing, but you yourself gain value from that experience. You know what I mean? You're not doing it to impress somebody. You're not doing it to show how good you are at something. You're doing it for the natural expression. Do you understand me? So I'm talking about, do you ever have moments where you can like, some people get music in their mind. They get a beat, they get a rhythm, they get something that comes to them spontaneously. Some people get, for example, rap or lyrics come to them, or some bit of poetry. You write poems. From my experience, some of these can be seemingly spontaneously from yourself. And I really value that. It seems to me something that might be beyond what we currently understand.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Kind of inspiration.
Like something coming to you, and you don't know where it can be philosophy.
That.
Bits of philosophy can come to you, some sort of insight. And I've had this many times, and I've tried to write it down as soon as I get it and reflect upon it. It could be the subconscious working things out, and then it brings something to the fore. And you have to express it. Something like that.
What do you think of modern art?
The distinct, like the term modern art, is difficult because there's art. I know what you're trying to say. I've seen some things that are classified as modern art, and I didn't gain any value from it. It's possible that some people do gain value from it. A lot of things can be up to the interpretation of the viewer, which is a value in itself, right?
I personally don't really like modern art. Look, it's true that art is different from person to person, but still, we can't have a complete and utter relativism. There always needs to be a certain template, or at least different templates that you can choose from. You can't just let people float on their lives without giving them anything to work with. You know what I mean?
But what about if it's human consensus? Like, if for example, what humans consider to be beautiful, for example. I mean, the thing about physical beauty, that has evolutionary origins. But maybe it applies to other things. But like, we appreciate a number of things. Symmetry for one, but also asymmetry can be aesthetically appealing. You know? So when people discuss about what they find beautiful or what they find pleasing to look at or listen to or whatever, generally you can come to some sort of consensus. A lot of people agree that, yeah, maybe this is cool, and then it starts to become a thing. You know what I mean? I agree with you, though. I don't like the relativistic idea about expression. But
so what's the middle ground between relativism and a complete, enthrallment, a complete dependency on a certain ideology or a certain point of view?
I don't know. You understand, most of my views are coming down to the individualistic way of looking at reality.
Yeah, definitely.
And that everything comes down to the individual, in my view.
Okay.
We perceive things largely in a similar way, but some people perceive things in a different way, and that diversity of understanding can be really valuable to a group, for example. You know what I mean?
But doesn't that also mean that in an individualistic world, there are some individuals who will be inevitably more valuable than others in their perception?
It obviously depends on the goal, on the objective,
of course,
of value. If it's towards, if it's towards producing food or something, somebody has a better understanding of how to grow crops or whatever, that's going to be an objective reality.
How about the organization of other people in a functional society?
Well, yeah. You mean about leadership or what?
More or less. Leadership doesn't necessarily mean to lead somewhere good. I think we had this conversation before. You can have the ability to achieve power without having the ability to actually use that power. You know what I mean? You need to have both of them to actually be a leader, a proper leader. If you can only achieve power, well, you become a bloodthirsty revolutionary or something like that. You achieve power, but then you're just destroying everything. If you can't achieve power, you become a nerd, basically. You have the ability to rule, but you can't achieve that rule. You know?
Right. Yeah, no, I understand. But for me, this is one of our disagreements, I suppose. It's that the control over yourself, for me, is the most valuable thing. The most valuable thing if possible. Because that's what you can that's what you directly experience, that's what you're directly responsible for, is your own individual action. And what I find irritating is the very common desire in the world, for most people, let's say in the West, to project that out upon the world and say, well, all these people are doing this, that's really bad and evil, we must take action to stop it. I'm more concerned with, well, what are you doing is there anything that you're personally doing that doesn't fit into your morality? You know what I mean? I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's many things that people are doing, but what they do is they say, well, that's more significant because it's a larger number of people, it's a bigger problem or whatever. But for me, it's an externalization of responsibility. You know what I mean? I think the more people take individual responsibility, the better things can be for all. And it's a really difficult thing to do because you have to judge yourself. And there's this whole thing today about don't judge. Well, you have to judge yourself, right? You have to choose what action you deem as acceptable.
Well, if the choice of their individual is to make other individuals behave like them.
Yeah, right. Whereas this is power, bro. This is the draw of power. Is I want to use it to force everybody to do what I want them to do. It's just, a lot of people trying to figure out the world, man.
Yeah.
And
perfect example.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the kind of ideas that the louder somebody shouts about an idea, the less convinced they are of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It seems like that.
And yet, if you don't say what you think and how you think the world should be, then the people who shout without thinking will win.
Yeah, there's something to that. There's a big problem with that. I don't know the solution to this. I'm thinking about it and working on it. This problem recently, I suppose. Because for me, there's a difference of ethics between individual life, between the way that you choose, and then how you would choose a society to be structured. Because, it's annoying.
I know, pretty annoying. They probably won't hear it on the other side.
Yeah, probably not.
They won't know what
I'm fucking talking about. Yeah, but you understand what I mean, because if you have a group of people, you're going to have to, I hate the word, but you're going to have to make compromises between liberty and responsibility. That's it. If you're going to have a collective of people, which is what we need to survive, you can't have the pure, I'll do whatever the fuck I want because I'm only responsible, because you aren't. And that's the tricky thing, because you can espouse, whatever, your ethics and your virtue and your morality about how people should live and this and that. But if it's not directly applicable to a reality, it's pretty worthless. You know what I mean? So that's the tricky thing I'm having, because it's a distinct line. People working together in a group, they need to follow rules like this. Individual ideal, well, anarchistic self-determination. That's where I am. It's like that.
You're more in the anarchistic
No.
self-determination?
I mean, I see both.
Or you're in the middle?
No, I'm not anywhere. I see both of them, and I see how which one is appropriate for me in my individual choices. But then I think about how that would affect a social group.
Well, yeah, of course. I think the wisest thing to do is to always do what's best for you. But the thing is, sometimes helping the others, usually, making part of the society you live in is best for you, because you can't survive without all the help of the other people around you. You can't survive without the society around you.
Yeah, that's
you know
right.
What I mean?
Well,
that's
we are social creatures at core.
Exactly. That's the origins. I would call this the rational origins of empathy and benevolence.
And of morality.
Of morality itself, yeah.
That's right. I was thinking
the necessity of surviving in society.
Would any ideas of morality exist without external objects? Without other actors in the world? Never mind humans, but like animals or plants or whatever. Would you have an idea of morality? Because your action would only affect yourself. So who would it be projecting on? You know what I mean?
I think without any other being in existence, you wouldn't exist.
Nah, you get me. I'm just doing the thought experiment.
Okay.
Because our morality is all about action. What actions are appropriate, which are good, which are not good. That's only relevant if there's somebody else in the equation. You get me? Or some other force in the equation.
Another
if it's just,
entity.
Yeah, potentially. If it's just you, presumably there isn't a morality. It's a strange one. You get me? So it seems to be, it's necessitated, or whatever, that there's something else there for us to be able to choose and judge. You know what I mean?
Something very difficult to assert, for sure. A while ago, a girl asked me a question, an interesting question, which I didn't really think about before that.
Yeah.
She told me, okay, if 0 is nothing and 100% is to be, for example, the most intelligent, the most beautiful, or the most empathetic person, you have three things. You have intelligence, empathy, and beauty.
Okay.
So how would you divide your 100%?
It's weird.
That's a little bit of a strange question. So you got 100%, which is all of your points, right? You got intelligence, you got beauty, and you got empathy.
Yeah, I understand.
How would you divide that 100% between the three? For example,
in what
if
circumstance?
In the life that you're living right now, if you had the choice to divide them all right now, to become a new being, based on that division that you're going to make up, you know what I mean? For example, if you get 100% on beauty, on intelligence, for example, you'll be the most intelligent being on earth, but you'll be very ugly and won't have any empathy. You know what I mean?
Right. I see.
From that, I asked her, where does intelligence go? How far does intelligence go? Because if being the most intelligent being only means that I'm slightly more intelligent than the second most intelligent being,
Yeah, right.
then it's not really worth betting everything on intelligence, right? Because they'll be almost as intelligent beings, and if you put the second and third most intelligent beings near me, they'll probably be able to outsmart me every single time, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So I asked her about that, and that was the main problem for me.
See.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't really see the experiment not that well.
Really?
No. Oh man, it's getting freezing. I think I might boost.
Fair enough.
I think I might go. So let's finish this one there.
Let's finish it. It's okay, bro.
It's good.
Okay.
Oh,
Content over everything. From now to
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
We love Prophet Muhammad
Listen.
calling him immoral, calling him
I don't even listen to Sky YG. I just listen to
other negative words,
Man, don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky YG.
and that his lifestyle, his mission from Mecca to Medina was immoral. A'udhu billah. Does he know what he's saying? Do you know who you're talking about?
not even listen to the MUM, they just listen to
You want to ignore the fact that many people, even non-Muslims, have spoken praise, words of praise and support for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you come here to call him immoral because certain things he did, and you're going through 10 things that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did that was immoral. Nothing that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did was immoral. Nothing. Even those things that you consider to be controversial.